it's a very sweet idea. It's an idea that, like they live very small, so they might as well kind of live small together.
Right.
And it's something that he decides to do before he's given the opportunity, and then he is offered the fight. And man, that bit when he walks into the office and he's offered the fight, and he's like, yeah, no.
Yeah. He says something. It's even, once again, it's one of those things that just makes you like him a lot. He says that he's not a good enough fighter, and he wants them to actually have a really good fight. So he's just being incredibly
because he really likes Apollo Creed. Like there's a scene earlier where he's watching him on TV, and he's like, that guy's the champ. That guy is so cool.
Right.
And he loves Apollo Creed. So yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure it is something along the lines of, that wouldn't be a good fight. You don't want that fight.
Yeah, it would disappoint people and all that. And he's so humble. He's just, you can't ruin this guy. He's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, but they eventually convince him to take it because they tell him about this idea. They want it to be about opportunity, and Creed, someone you respect, like hand selected you. And he eventually does take it, and I love that bit too, where they announce it like on TV, and like,
oh yeah, this is
Creed is being like so fucking condescending about the whole, like they're putting him up there like a puppet, like a baby.
Yeah.
And they're just being like, here's the guy, and Rocky just comes up to the mic and he's just like
stoic and normal and just calm.
He's like, oh geez, am I on TV?
Yeah, and he barely knows how to like interact with the cameras. And then the best part is the only time he shows any real emotion is when he just goes like, hey Adrian, I'm on TV.
It's me, Rocky.
And then you get the fucking, like, the sweetest moment ever, like the most loving moment where they're just on the couch together and they look at each other and smile like that he shouted her out. It's so, like, I fall in love with them so easily. It's amazing. And that's like the first initial moment that creates that whole idea of like all his motivation now is for him to kind of like see, or for him to have Adrian see him as like the successor in some way, because every time he does anything that's like a victory in some way, he just yells out Adrian's name, both in this movie and the second one. He does it, so it's just like, I love that everything he does eventually ends up for their love as also his own determination, but just that Adrian is such a driving factor in that.
I also love in that scene too that Paulie is like pointing out that they're making fun of him on TV.
Yeah,
and they're and like Adrian is like telling Paulie to like shut up and stuff like that, and he's like, well, it don't bother me, like Creed's the best, like he can do what he wants or whatever. But then later when he's talking with Adrian in private, and you say, how I said what they said on TV didn't bother me, he's like, well, it did. And it's just like one of those moments where he kind of like lets it down, where he tries to be very amiable and joyous and, sort of extroverted all of the time. And then, he's got some pain in there, man.
Yeah.
And to his relationship with Mickey. Oh my God, Mickey, played by Burgess Meredith, and
he's so good.
The only person who can sort of like out grumble Sylvester Stallone.
Dude, every time he's on screen, he looks like his heart is about to burst. Every single shot that he does, every line delivery, it looks so tense. Like he's always sweating. He's red in the face. He just looks like he's about to explode in every line delivery. And I just love it. It's amazing. It's a great performance.
Yeah, and Mickey, previously in the movie, he like got rid of Rocky's locker because he works with a loan shark, and he doesn't train.
He works with only contenders.
Yeah, I like this idea that Rocky is meant to be kind of like in his early 30s.
Yeah.
So the younger guys are the ones Mickey's working with because
he's on his way out, kind of thing.
He's already on his way out, yeah. So he's kind of he's in that middle ground between the Jeff Bridges and Stacy Keach character in Fat City.
Right.
He's not quite as old as Stacy Keach is in that, where I think he's meant to be like middle age, like mid.
Yeah, he's at that like last opportunity moment.
Yeah, and you can just tell that Mickey is disappointed in him that he didn't try harder, kind of, in a way. But then Mick finds out that he got this fight, and he goes to him and he's like, you got to let me be your manager. He's like, I got pain got experience, I got knowledge. He shows him all the breaks in his nose and everything. He's like, I can help you, and you got the heart. I think that you could do it. And Stallone, obviously, and Rocky, because of the way Mick had treated him by getting rid of his locker and, you know, calling him a nobody and things like that. He's like, yeah,
he even mentions
heart.
He ignored him for like 10 years while he was at the gym and stuff too.
Well, yeah, because, you know, he said, where was this Mickey like 10 years ago when I didn't have money? You know, when I asked you, but you never heard anything, and like that improvised, by the way, breakdown that he has, where he's talking about like the stink in the apartment.
I could kind of feel that, but there was also just such a realness to it that I was like, I don't know, you could have calculated this as well. But I love when he started to go on about like just he's like, yeah, it's a dirty place. I got a dirty place, and he's just like going off about like just kind of his woes and feeling like he wasn't given the time of day.
Mickey is like, I'm 76 years old. I'm not gonna get another shot, and you know I kind of need this from you. And then Rocky is countering back like, in your prime you did box. What about my prime? I'm already past it. And, you know, if I fight him, I'm just going to go get my face kicked in. And he's talking about, you know, again, the details of you know, his apartment, how filthy it is, how it stinks. I mean, shit, when he brings her over and he's got like newspapers covering up the couch.
Yeah. And then that giant mattress with like holes and springs sticking out of it that he punches as a punching bag. Like, it's the most random looking place.